the age of cheap China is over. So the idea that China is going to, the world for the past 2 decades has essentially benefited from the low labor cost in China that has been able to offset inflation. And this is over in China. So what will happen today is that China will increasingly invest in robotics, in AI, in order to increase productivity when they make foods. And they will innovate because they've got this giant domestic market. And there's a lot of things that we could learn from them. So a couple of things that I was reading recently is the AI that the bots in China, that Alibaba's bots are using to serve customers are rated 3 points higher than an individual staffer by the people. So if you've had to deal with bots with your bank's customer service, you have here an experience of something that never answers your question exactly the way you want it, or gives you random answers. They're way more advanced in that sense. Now, of course, it's with Chinese characters. It's not directly replicable here, but that's something that you can learn from. There is a lot of, because China is cracking down on environmental pollution. There's a lot of small industrial kitchens or small food factories that are being shut down and replaced by mobile units with semi-robotized operations inside. I was looking at a small restaurant concept, a cloud kitchen, no later than yesterday, who has small containers that they move around with, and they're using half the stuff that you would use in a normal kitchen. The sanitation is pristine. They're based in China, and they serve all the food to consumers in porcelain bowls. And the first question that came to my mind is, how do you make sure you collect these porcelain bowls and don't lose them? Because everybody will be keeping them. And they've got an AI software. So the delivery man on his next round to deliver from you, he will just simply scan with his phone the bag with the porcelain shop, and it will automatically verify that the number of bowls are there and reconcile your account. So in that sense, there's a lot of innovations that are happening on that side. But what I see going forward with the food supply chains, they're going to be more localized. People have been traumatized by the recent disruptions, and all the people I talk to are looking at building their supply chain closer to their main markets. So you're going to see a lot of things coming back here in the US. And not crossing the world. There's also environmental reason. People are more and more, consumers want to know that the food and ingredients that are in their food have not crossed the world on an ocean trailer. They want to make sure that it doesn't have a negative impact on the climate. Now, beyond that, there's all sorts of very interesting technology innovations about reducing waste. In the produce sector, fruit and vegetable, you've got nearly a third of the produce that are lost between the different transportation modes. In the US, it's a bit more efficient than that because it's more integrated, but in most parts of the world, 30% is a fair assessment. So you've got all sorts of solutions that are being created today, leveraging data and AI to better control the amount of waste and reduce our impact on the environment. So I don't know if I'm answering to that on the food side. On the future of work side, I mean, you're talking to the guy who used to be 10 times a year in China and hasn't been able to travel for the past 2 years. And I've had the best year ever last year because I've leveraged tools like Mural and Zoom that have allowed me to have tremendous impact with people stuck in their home around the world and participating online on the same Mural board to exchange ideas and form consensus around their strategic direction. So I'm really impressed. As you say, we're never going to come back to the analog world. I think that when we start to travel, people are going to think twice before they travel. My coaching client, for example, used to be familiar with the process where I travel once a month to see them for half a day, and I travel once a quarter to see them for a full day of work, and once a year for 2 full days of work. Well, today, we're probably going to settle around a rhythm where I travel for the annual meeting, for the planning meeting at the end of the year, and maybe for a couple of key quarterly meetings. But the rest, we're going to do everything online. It's much more practical for everybody.